Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I want to go over my $1,800 loss with my SPY puts. And so basically, if you look at the general trend of SPY, you know that it basically just goes up over the long term. If we go back in the past 100 or so years, pretty easy to see that trying to time corrections and trying to short this is basically a kamikaze play. You're basically going on, it's literally suicide. And so I had to experience that for myself the hard way by shorting SPY. So I got yesterday I got SPY puts about $5,500 worth. I basically yellowed my account. And if you think that's bad, that's actually a lot less of what I have overall of all the money that I have. It's like around 10%. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna yellow it. If I lose half, that's fine, because the payout was like 5x. So I took the risk and I just got absolutely ran over. So let's just go over the trick. Actually, let's first go over the reason why. So super quick. This is the little pattern we've been doing in SPY, and then if you just look at it, it's like, okay, so now it's about time for there to be some sort of correction. And if you look at like what it's done in the past, right, it's like, okay, once you start bouncing off the 50 moving average, and then you start like plateauing a little bit, then it's like ripe for a little correction. And see, we've been bouncing off the 50 for a while. And if you look at volatility, you'll see, like, ever since we started this microphone pattern, right, in early 2018, we've been going higher highs on the VIX. And so, like, before, every time when we have a giant pullback in the markets, we have these giant peaks in VIXs. We always would test the support line first, right? And then so that's what we did, and then we were higher than the 50-day. So basically, very basic parameters. It's just, first one is, there's three parameters. Is it high enough? Yes, it was high enough. Is volatility increasing? Yes, it was. And what triggered the trade was price action starting to weaken. And so this cross is what I used. So I said yes, yes, yes. Okay, I'm in. And then I didn't get in here because it crossed during pre-market or after-market hours. And so I had to wait till the morning, and I was like, okay, great, this rally came in, great, so now I could get these puts for cheap. And then I was looking at pre-market, I was like, hell yeah, I was right, it's looking great. And then I woke up around like 5:30 today in the morning. I was like, great, it's down, right? The dollar was up, right? Yields were down. Crude was down. I was like, look, everything is adding up, everything's looking great. And then I got absolutely ran over. So I should have sold like right here when I got my little chance to finally sell a little bit when it pulled back. But I sold as soon as we were about to break this 200 on the hourly. I just sold everything. And so this is for the day. The actual loss for the entire position is actually almost exactly 1,800. So that is a 32% loss in not even one day. That's like overnight. So fat L's for me. Truly, this just really made me realize, if you don't know, I've also lost money on TLT. So it just seems like I was trying to go long TLT, but then it did this little move right here. So I sold literally like right here because it was over. So basically, what am I going to take out from all of this? So basically, what I decided to do is just literally stop trying to time markets. I will no longer ever try to time markets on the short term. I will literally, from now on, I will only try to like go long-term stuff, which is like a year or 2 years stuff. So like, right, trying to time the markets isn't necessarily a bad thing when they're really glaringly obvious. So basically what I'm trying to get at is like these patterns of like there's 10 years of when markets underperform, 10 years when markets do well, 10 years right here markets did terrible, 10 years it did great, 10 years, and then 10 years it did shit, and then 10 years it's been great. So like getting those like super long-term cycles where literally cycles last 10, 20 years, that you can predict, right? With a much great, so basically the less predictions you make and the longer time frames you have, the better you'll do, right? It's much easier at this point right here or this point right here to say, okay, we've had 10 years of underperformance. I think the next 10 years will be overperformance, like have we done since the 1930s. That is a much better call out than looking at this is like, okay, I think now it's going to go back to the 200 day. Like that's, or the mistake that I did here was like, okay, like, look, now it's going to go back over here and then blah, 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 blah. Look at this. I'm so smart. Oh, look at all this technical analysis. I actually think nowadays technical analysis no longer gives you an edge over anything, because literally anyone that's new to the markets, the first thing they learn is technical analysis. Like everyone is seeing the same charts. I think the only edge you have now is controlling your greed. I think that is the only edge, or I think that is the only edge that I would have, controlling my greed and being patient. I think those two have always been and still is the greatest edge on the markets. So like if you just look at the long-term chart of TLT, you're like, okay, wow, it's long, it's going to do this. If I could just get shares and just buy whenever we hit a low point, right? Within like, this is February of 2011, right? I'll just have to wait like 8 months and then it'll be up here, right? Or let's say even I buy it down here, right? A little early. This is May of 2009. Even if it does this and it goes back down and it fakes out and all that, like in like 2.5 years, I would have been right and I would have made 40%. Is that such a bad thing? But no, because like you're like, oh, that's too long, and I could get options, and I could, if I time it right and I get these little moves, I could get 5x. So it's the problem here is human greed and impatience. If you are patient and you're not greedy, I think you will make money, because it's really easy. It's so easy to make money in this, right? Anytime you just draw these little like 2 lines over here, and then you're just like, all right, so anytime we hit this bottom area, I'll just fucking buy TLT, right? Literally, like it'll be the most simple thing in the world. Like literally with anything with SPY 2, it's just like, all right, so anytime we have this significant dip, I'll just buy it, right? But you want to like be constantly like trying to time the market, and you're trying to like time the cyclicals, right? You're like, oh yeah, now gold's the time to get in, and then, or like, oh, inflation's coming, get crude oil, and then reopening trade and value and growth. Like I think now I'm starting to go like, I'm not smart whatsoever. I'm not talented. The only edge that I could possibly have is utilize my youth as a 20-year-old right now and just play the long game, right? I don't need to try making fucking 5x over like 2 weeks and all this bullshit. I have time, so why not just play the long game and just really do things long term, and stop throwing money away trying to time the markets with options that expire within a month. Like I know I like to make fun of these guys over here, but my performance for the past couple of months makes me realize I should be in Wall Street Bets, right? You look over here and you're like, wow, these guys are all fucking morons. I can't, what is this? Like, oh yeah, I can't believe this guy lost 500K, or, this guy fucking, okay, look, maybe I'm not, maybe, or, sometimes you get really lucky, right? Yeah, like, sure, maybe I'm not as retarded as these guys, like, especially this guy who has $1 million, and he's just very impatient, and he just wants to throw all of his money away, when literally all he had to do was wait for some sort of dip on the SPY, and he'd be good, right? I mean, if you just bought any of these dips, like that's 400% in what is that? In 12 years. So that's 4 million in 12 years. That's phenomenal. That's like really fucking good. 300 grand a year. Most Americans don't make that much. But it just takes patience and it takes time. But he's trying to make 400% in 6 months, and then now he could risk losing everything. So like, what I've been doing is no different from these guys over here, and it's no different from what a lot of professionals on Wall Street do either. It's really just, why bother timing it? Just be a little patient. Take your time. Just identify a long-term trend. Okay, great. You've identified that it's up. Great. Anytime that it's down, just buy it. Or how about this? Just maybe you could time a little bit of it when you see these long-term cycles, and then maybe even doing that, maybe even trying to time the tops and bottoms, maybe even that's like really stupid. Yeah, I don't know. So my personal plan is stop trying to mess around with stocks, because yes, even like looking at this long term is right now the time to buy. And I know I just went on saying don't try to time shit and be patient. So maybe I should really think about what I just said and try to use that, because maybe I'm still trying to do the same thing. But like, if you just look at the entire history of the stock market, right? I mean, the best times to buy are the dips, right? We have these really long-term cycles of 10 years of underperformance and like 10 years of overperformance. And we've had 10 years of overperformance, so maybe we should wait for the 10 years of underperformance first. Because I mean, I think if I was to buy right now and I'll hold for the next 50 years, assuming the United States is still a very powerful and wealthy country, yes, being patient and not being greedy will pay off for me, and I will make money. But for the first 10 or 15 years might be really shitty. So that's why I'm doing this with crypto. And same thing with crypto. There's this, if you watch these videos, you know where I'm getting at. These long-term cycles. I timed the top over here. I luckily got the top. I sold here, but I bought like right here when I got back into crypto 20% cheaper, but it was not worth it. So basically, the lesson is like, look at these long-term cycles and just go like, okay, well, I'm just gonna wait till it dips. This is not, if you look at all the other dips we've had, we're like, this is not a dip. So next time I'll just buy crypto when it's down here, and then I'll enjoy the returns that it's historically given me, which is a lot better than the stock market. So you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I still do have a little bit of greediness and impatience within me, and so that's why I want to try not trading crypto, not trying to time crypto, not trying to like short-term time crypto. I'm certainly not going to. There's like options on crypto, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. There's like people who like try to time when like, there's like this thing where like there's certain periods where Bitcoin is overperforming, and then there's like periods where Ethereum or ADA or these other altcoins are overperforming, and then like you switch between the two. I can't do that. I'm not gonna be able to do that. There's like people who fucking day trade crypto with leverage. Insanity. There's people who use options, or like people who thought like we were gonna fall lower because like this Head and Shoulders. I mean, that's when the easiest thing to do is just constantly buy, like every single month. Like anytime you get any sort of money, just put it into crypto. But the risk in crypto is also like, what if it becomes illegal and it all goes to zero? So it's just like, it's stupid to be impatient and greedy, and maybe like diversify into other things. Maybe not even the American stock market, maybe other stock markets around the world, like in Europe or Japan. Japan and Europe has their stock markets have been pretty shitty the past, like, I don't know, 10, 20 years. Europe's been like 10, I think. Japan's been like 20 or 30 years. So, like, maybe those are cheap. Maybe it's time to get into those things. Or maybe, like, the entire the idea of investment is overdone, and then really you should be spending your time trying to build businesses and real economic value instead of trying to just throw money at different things. I don't know. Point is, the lessons that I've learned is to not be so frivolous with money and, give people money or invest it into stupid things or trying to trade it all. The best thing to do is literally just identify really long-term trends and just DCA in. Don't be greedy and have patience. So, I'm seeing a lot of people going like, oh, I'm going to get into like ADA right now because it's going up. Oh, no, don't do that. Get into Bitcoin because it's about to... I don't care anymore. I think all I'm going to do is literally just keep it super simple and just wait for this thing to cross, for us to start hitting the top of this red band, and just sell, right? And then wait, same thing here, like wait for that, I don't know, 85% drop, and just wait for that 80-something% drop or whatever, whatever we go to, 85%, that's like wherever it ends up being. Just do that, and then you don't even need to try time to top. Why don't you just try slowly getting out, and then as it goes down, you're like slowly getting in over the course of a year, right? I mean, just DCing in, spreading around your probabilities and your averages. I think that's the way to go. And thank God crypto is around right now, where doing such a strategy can still get you like a 10x return over like 4 years, right? When getting a 10x would have taken you like 20 years on the stock market. So, but this is still risky. This is still not as safe as this. So I don't know. So basically, I just wanted to say, don't be like me. I fucked up trying to time the markets. I will not be doing that again. Until, of course, the autism in me comes out again, whenever that is. But I really, really just want to say, don't be greedy and have patience and play the long-term game. All right, that's all I have to say, and I hope this video was somewhat useful to somebody, and I hope you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.